Recorded Books and RB Digital present The Quantum Spy by David Ignatius, narrated by Edoardo Ballerini. Prologue. Seattle, Washington. A cold mist hovered over Lake Washington, a vaporous green after a morning of rain, when John Vandal arrived in Seattle. The CIA official had traveled from Washington to visit an electronics engineer named Jason Schmidt, who ran a small, privately owned computer company that hadn't yet built its first product. The plant was a low-rise brick building on the southern end of the lake, near the Boeing factory in Renton. A sign announced the initials of the company, QED, short for Quantum Engineering Dynamics, etched in cobalt blue. Vandal rang the buzzer. He was a lean, putty-faced man with a bad haircut that spiked short gray hairs in odd directions. His complexion was scarred. His body had an elastic bend at the joints. The only things that sparkled were the slate-gray eyes that retained an intense focus, even when the rest of him was slack. He was wearing a rumpled black suit and carrying a briefcase. The doorbell stuck for a moment. It was answered eventually by a young woman in a black T-shirt, with 3 small diamond studs in one ear and a silver piercing through her eyebrow. The building had a musty odor, as if it had once been something else. A round-faced man wearing a knit shirt and a jacket bearing the company logo walked toward Vandal. He looked like he hadn't been outdoors in a year. "I'm Jason Schmidt," he said shyly. "I guess I'm the boss." "I'm Mr. Green," said Vandal. "Do you have someplace quiet where we can talk?" Schmidt led him down a nondescript corridor to a conference room that had a view across Rainier Avenue to the southern shore of the lake. On the way, they passed the detritus of a startup that hadn't yet made its start. Rows of grubby cubicles, glowing computer screens flanked by pallid faces that hadn't gotten enough sleep, ever. The strange sounds from a nearby recreation room for over-caffeinated employees. The click-click of ping-pong balls and the knock-knock of foosballs scudding toward the goal. Vandal had a loose, ambling gait as he strolled down the corridor, peering into doors and windows. He had the gift of a good case officer, which was that he looked harmless. In his wallet he kept a card on which he had printed the advice he had received from his first station chief in Damascus. "Always remember that you are a snake handler, not a snake charmer." Unkempt as he appeared at first glance, Vandal was meticulous in his work as the CIA's deputy director for operations and acknowledged as the agency's top spy, even by the many people who feared or disliked him. He had come to Seattle to do the essential manipulative business of a case officer, which was to recruit a reluctant agent. "I'm here because of your letter," said Vandal when he was seated. His eyes wandered the room for a moment, and then locked on Schmidt. He removed a 2-page letter from his briefcase and read the opening sentence aloud. "I am writing to the Central Intelligence Agency because I have information that is important for our national security." That rang our bell. Schmidt was nervous. He cleared his throat. "You must think I'm a crank, or a kook or something." He was fumbling for words. "You probably get crazy letters from people all the time." "We do, but not like this. And we knew about your company. The NSA checked you out months ago. So when this letter arrived at the CIA, it interested people. Someone sent it to me, and I wanted to come see you myself." Schmidt mumbled an apology. He was embarrassed at having summoned a senior representative of the U.S. government all this way. "I wasn't sure who to contact. There's so many intelligence agencies. But I have a cousin who works for the CIA. Maybe I'm not supposed to know that, but I do. So I sent the letter to my cousin and told him to give it to the right person. I guess that's you, Mr. Green, although that's probably not your real name." Vandal shook his head. No, Green was not his real name. "I need to talk about 2 things in your letter, Mr. Schmidt. First, you said you had made a breakthrough in building a quantum computer. I think your exact words were, 'I've solved the puzzle.' Our engineers looked carefully at the paper you sent. They're not convinced, but they don't think you're crazy."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?